morning, everyone. We're going to do a nice little project this morning, and it is called a star card. And that star card is going to be one star shape. We're going to put a greeting in the inside. It's also going to fold up and make an envelope at the same time. So let's go over to Design Space. And I just want to let you know that I have put the file that you can use for this into the resource library. So I'm going to write a little comment here and tell you where to go for the resource library. It's in both resource libraries, so if you're a member, you'll be able to get it in the resource library inside of your hub. Otherwise, if you're a free member, it will also be there. And I'm just going to type that in right now. free.creativecraftersclub.com, or if you're a member, it is hub.creativecraftersclub.com, and I do believe it is resource 385. It is the latest one that is in there. Hi Liz, how are you doing? So it's the latest one that's in there, and right over in Design Space right now, what I want to do is just show you what it's going to look like. So I'm going to my uploads. So this is your star card. It's just simply called Star Fold Card. So if you can grab that, and I will just add that to the canvas. And it comes in some weird colors. I'm just going to change the color in the back here. I'll make it a yellow just so it's easy to see. And then, of course, the red square is our score line, so I'm just going to change that. And I am going to score that one. And now we have basically our star fold card, of which we will attach it together. I mean, it's just as simple as cutting this, but I want to add a few other things to it, and that's going to make a big difference in what we do here. Now, when we have our card, basically it's going to fold up to the sides and come down to the top, which means the back side can be a pattern, and the inside could be plain white. But what I like to do is have a pattern on the outside and a pattern on the inside. And if I don't have any double-sided paper that I have patterns on both, I have a little technique that I use to put a second one on the inside. So we're just going to take this, it's still grouped together here, and I am going to duplicate it. And I'm just going to take the duplicate down here, and I should be able to drag the whole thing out of the way. Great. So I've got one that's up here. Now I will attach this, and I'm going to work with this bottom one down here. Now what I want to do with this one is make it slightly smaller so they're not exactly the same size when you go to push them on top of each other. So I want to take just the bottom piece, and I'm going in the layers panel here, just the bottom piece here. I'm going to go up to my offset. Instead of going for a positive offset, I'm going to just drag it down a little bit so I leave a border. That looks pretty good, so I am going to apply that. And of course, I'm going to change that color. Make it a nice gold color. Perfect. Now, I have the offset result, but I also have the card that's in behind. So let me just take a look at the card in behind. It wants to go my offset. Let's see if I can just grab the other piece here. Just one second. There, we've got the back piece. Now, I don't need that back piece anymore, but I'm going to keep it. So I'm just going to turn the eyeball off. And then what I want to do is take these score lines that are hiding in behind. I'm going to arrange them, and I want to send them to the back. I don't want to send it to the back. I want to send this one to the back, and I moved it just slightly. There we go. want to take this one and arrange. I'm going to send it to the back. So I have the score lines appearing on front. Now you'll notice that they'll go over the edge. That is perfectly fine. We want to leave them there because those score lines have to match this top piece here. So I'm going to attach those together. I'm going to take this. So now if I put this in place, you'll see I can get the score lines to match. And that means I'm cutting two pieces here. I'm cutting an inner star and an outer star. Now I only use this if I don't have a double-sided paper. Now one last thing we want to add to this, of course, is a greeting on the inside, and that greeting has to fit within this second star if you've done that, or within this one. So let's grab a shape. It can be rounded, and I'm just going to fit it inside here. It's going to be slightly inside, so I am going to unlock it. Right now it's 2 by 2. All I'm going to do is drag it over and down. And I don't want it right nestled up to the score lines, and the reason I don't is when I go to fold the card, I want to make sure I have enough room inside. Okay, this looks good. I'm going to lock it. Let me just change that color. Let's go for, let's just keep it the same color as this one here. Sorry, my mouse isn't working that well. There we go. So now we have something where we can write a greeting. Now these guys are all attached together. Yes. Okay, so what we want now is the greeting that we're going to put in the card. So let's just grab some text. And I'm going to change what the font is. And I'm simply going to go to my system. And I'm just going to type in Christmas to see what I have. And do a search. Got all kinds of little Christmas. This has got, oh, I got Christmas dings here. That would be interesting. I've got one called Happy Christmas Party. You may have some things that are different. This one's called Christmas Candy and Christmas Blessings. I'm going to go Happy Christmas Party. Now, if you don't have that font, you'll likely find it on font bundles. So let me just drag it here. So I'm just going to put Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So let me just double click here. Up. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Now I know it's large. I want to change the spacing here because what I find with the spacing is just too far apart. So let me reduce the spacing. And I'm just going to keep clicking the little arrow up here under line space until I get what I want. I want it a lot closer together. Just keep it going. I'm at almost minus 5 now. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now I do want to fit it here. So all I need to do is just make it a little bit smaller so it's going to fit in. I can also change this a little bit if I want to drag it down. Now, generally you might want to just print it here and then sign your name. For this one, I'm just going to drag it down a bit. And I've got a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. It flipped down the line just because I dragged it down. Now that looks really good. Now what I need to do is make sure that my Merry Christmas here is not a cut. So go from basic cut to pen. Perfect. I'm just going to highlight the two of them together, and I'm going to align these, and I'm going to align them center, and then I am going to attach them. So basically that's all you need to do. So this is the greeting that will go on the inside. I generally use white cardstock for this. If you're using single-sided paper, you will need this inside piece. If you're using double-sided pattern paper, you will only need the one. I'm cutting out the two today so that we can put it together, and it is so simple to put this together. All right, let's go over to, well, let's save it first. That would help. Okay, I'm going to put a star card 2022. And I have a December makes here. I'm just going to put it under my December makes, and I am going to save it. Now I'm going to go over to make it. Now this is the inner card, and you'll see the score lines do come over the edges. Do not worry about that. It's fine because they align. On the next paper we have the Cricut New Year. Now if you're using the same medium cardstock, you can simply take this, we can move the object, and we can put it on that first page. And I do think I can get it to fit. Not sure. Let me just turn this a little bit. This is a little trick I have where I can just turn it a little bit, and then I can fit an extra thing in. So if you've never done that, you can turn things, and if I'm using a pattern, it'll come off a little askew, and this one will be plain. So the other option, of course, is I can then take this and put it back straight the way it was, because I've got a pattern paper. I can take this guy, and let me see if I can turn him sideways and fit him in on the side. And since this one is plain white, that works perfectly well. So that's just a little way you can fit things in and use fewer mats. And of course here is our last mat, and that is the outer piece. So I'm going to cut all of these. So let's just continue. I'll select my device. I'll just take a second or two to come up. Now I just have all of these base materials set, so I want to start using a medium cardstock, and it's going to tell me to put in my pen, and it is going to tell me that I need my scoring wheel, and then I'll need something to cut. All right, let's get this all cut up, and we're going to go over to our demo table, and we are going to put things together there. Should be able to see the demo table now. Yes, okay, everything is in place. All right, this is a pretty simple one to put together. I'm just going to close my machine here and close it so we have room. This is the piece that I had Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I had pre-printed this one. I did it in a glitter, so that's a nice easy piece. I have my inside piece and my outside piece. I use gnomes on the outside. So we have all of these score lines. So what I want you to do is, of course, score these and make them nice and crisp. And generally, if I'm just using this, this will work just fine. I just want to show you how to put this together. I'm just going to place that in place. Now, you don't have to glue your greeting in. You can leave it as is. So this is the process when we fold it. We bring this up. We bring each one of these sides over, and then we take the tip here and slide it down underneath, and we have a complete envelope and card, so you could address it. So that is the way we would do that. Now, if you have the inside piece, because you want a pattern on the inside, I have this other paper that's white on both sides. All you need to do is match up those score lines, because you're also scoring this one. So make sure you have these score lines all set as well. And don't worry if you think that these are not matching up. They actually will match up to the one that's on the inside, because that's what you want to do, is match up those score lines, and then you can apply your glue. So I just have a nice little clear gel tacky glue that I use, and I'm only going to apply glue to the edge pieces, and it's because I don't want too much glue. And what I'm doing on this first one, this is the more awkward one to get into place, is the first one, because you want to make sure everything matches up. There we go. Got the first one in place. Then I'm going to do each of the flaps the same way. Just doing the edges. Oh, I got a little extra in there, and it moved. Don't want things to move. It's a nice little card to make. And I've got enough glue on my fingers here. Not quite enough. You want to make sure those score lines are matching together, and then of course there's the bottom piece. You can just match that up. Okay, last piece you want to put in place, of course, is your Christmas greeting. Now you can leave it just as is without gluing it into place, or you can simply glue it down. In our case, I'm simply just going to tack it down. Don't want too much glue. Give it a little bit of a center. Sure got it straight. That's why I use tacky glue, to make sure I get everything straight, because I can slide it around. Okay, so there we have our Starfold card. Now there is one little challenge that you will have when you put this together, when you fold it, when you have the extra piece inside. So we're going to fold the bottom as normal, and we're going to fold the sides over. But you'll notice it's thick here, so you do have to make sure that you press this into place. You want it nice and as flat as you can get it. It's going to buckle a little bit. Now when you put the top piece in, you are going to have to bend it a bit and then slide it into place. And there we have it, our gorgeous little star card. It all becomes one. So I really hope you enjoyed making this one. I know it's a lot of fun, and until next time, let's make something new.